What's up everyone, Coach Dylan here. I'm just going to walk you through the single leg hip thigh that we did this week, just to help you with some setups, some coaching cues, and things you're looking for when performing the exercise, right? So obviously first one being the setup. So obviously guys, we did this with our shoulders on the box. That's the way I like to do hip thighs, bridges, personally. So when you set up, I want you to have your shoulder blades on the box. So if you're setting up where it's just kind of like the top of the shoulders on the box, you're going to find it a lot harder to actually push down and get your hips up, and you're going to feel like you're falling off the box most of the time. So I like to tell people have at least your shoulder blades on that box to help you drive those hips up and through. All right, so that's when you get set up. Just bring yourself down. Shoulder blades are on that box. Again, you're not propping up on your arms. You're just letting your back rest on that box. Right. For setup with the feet, this one you're going to have to kind of feel out a little bit. I tell people you don't want your feet so far out that when you come up, your heel is in front of your knee, because that means you're going to put a lot more stress on the hamstring, which yes, we're working the hamstrings, but we're really trying to target the glutes. So you want to actually bring that foot in closer to you, so when you're at the top, it's more directly right under the knee, and you have more of a 90-degree angle in that leg. All right? So once you get your foot set up in your position, brace in the core, your hips are going down because gravity's pulling those hips down. So now you're in hip flexion here, and we're trying to get up into hip extension. So we're driving up and through, full hip extension, squeezing the glutes. So there should be a straight line from your knee to your hip to your shoulders here in that position, and then control right back down. So that's two leg hip thigh. So if we're doing single leg hip thigh, kind of want to bring that foot in a little bit, whichever one you're pressing in, and then it's the same thing. Just drive through that hip or that heel, get those hips up, squeeze the glute, control back down. Again, pushing through that heel, getting up, control down. Now, some people can do it from the ground, that's fine, and others, I know Meagan loves to have the other version where your foot is elevated on the box. This is a very, very high box to do a heel elevated hip bridge, but you can do the same thing essentially, and some people say it feels better for them, but really, again, it's all in the setup and how you execute the movement. So even here, you can see I'm in, again, hip flexion. So the goal here is to get all the way up into hip extension. So regardless of what position, which method you do, you just want to make sure when you come up to that bridge, you're pushing all the way up, straight line from the knees, hips, to the shoulders, control back down. So this one's definitely a lot more harder, especially because the box is really high, my feet are a lot elevated. So you can see I gotta drive very far up to get to full hip extension. The reason why I'm not a huge fan of this one, because a lot of people will come up to here and think they're getting full hip extension when they're not, and then controlling back down. So obviously this is a very, very high box to be doing that on. But even so, the goal is to get all the way through to hip extension so you can squeeze your glutes on those, all right? So hope this helps.